Podcast. The Brutally Delicious Podcast.
What's up, everybody? This is Dark Macek with Brutally Delicious, coming at you with a review of Everdawn's brand new album, Venera. First off, Happy New Year, everyone. I'm looking forward to an exciting 2024. So, back to Venera. I'd never heard of this band before, but I thought to myself, with a band name like Everdawn, I'm in. And sure enough, it did not disappoint. The style was interesting to say the least. I would have called it just straight symphonic metal. It was built to me as power. The closest comparison I can think of is Edenbridge. That's a fantastic symphonic band from, I believe, Austria. Their 2019 album Dynamite was one of the best of the year for me. Seriously, I'm wondering whether it's the same producer. I just gotta pause here to say two things. One, it is really refreshing to hear female-fronted symphonic metal and not immediately think they sound like Nightwish. Two, I sort of assumed this band was going to be from Germany or Sweden. I go to the Metal Archives and turns out they are from New Jersey. I know I said two things, but this is like five wrapped up into one. First and foremost, best news ever since I heard of Empress last year. They're a power metal band from Philadelphia. We need more of this style coming from the US. But also, this is like the only good thing to come from New Jersey since Bruce Springsteen, probably. As a Manhattan resident, I will say, good job, you stepped up your game. Last thing before we get to the songs. So I said the band sonically and kind of stylistically reminds me of Edenbridge. The vocals remind me a little bit of Britney Slay's of Unleash the Archers. If you don't know Unleash the Archers, do yourself a favor, go listen to their last two albums, or at least do The Wind That Shaped the Land. But for Venera, kicking things off, the style at the beginning of the album is actually kind of like a classic metal, except it's more chord-based than riff-based, but eventually it develops into that symphonic metal style I was talking about. Song-wise, let's start with Century Black. Really cool track with a great melodic chorus. There's a pop sensibility here in that the chorus reminded me of Eagle Fly Free by Halloween, but without the double bass drumming. Oftentimes, I'll hear metal songs, specifically power metal songs, and think, this sounds like that pop hit, but with double bass drumming. It's interesting going in the reverse direction. And with Eagle Fly Free in particular, I've said that there are many songs over the years that have like blatantly stolen it. This one I don't think is a steal at all. It just reminded me of it, which is, I think, the best way possible moving forward. Compare that to something like Shape of Reality by Northtail, where it's very obviously trying to ape it. Point being, it sounds to me like they had an influence and incorporated that into the music without just rewriting something that already existed. Silver Lining. Here is the power metal burner I was waiting for at the beginning of the album. I asked myself whether this would have been a better opener than Cassiopeia, and I think it very well might have been. Sort of needless to say, there's a good sense of melody here, and I really appreciated that. Crimson Dusk and Silver Dawn. I think this might be the first instrumental I have ever praised in my history doing reviews for Brutally Delicious. This one rips hard. I mean it in the best way possible when I kept expecting vocals to come in. That's rare in that it sounded like it was building towards something. There are basically two types of metal instrumentals. The first type is about a minute and a half long and it's atmospheric, and it's what they do to open an album when the opening track is too abrupt. The second type is just shredding, and there are great examples of that. I do actually like Yngwie, but you can tell it's there somewhat for self-indulgence most of the time. This one did not have that vibe at all. Like I'm saying, it felt like it was an actual song. I'm sitting there thinking, when are vocals going to come in? It kept my attention. The title track, Venera. I really hope it's not Venera. Great chorus, and it really carries some heft and emotional weight. When I was listening to this, I was envisioning a movie in my head, specifically the climax where a villain realizes that he's gone too far and is about to turn back to avoid dooming humanity. It actually felt like something was changing every time I heard this chorus. It has that effect. Last but not least, Truer Words Ever Spoken, almost 13 minutes long, and there is so much to it that I'm finding it hard just to begin to summarize it. I immediately made a mental to-do to listen to this again so I can remember everything that just happened. You know, I could probably do a couple minutes review of just this song. But for the sake of a short review like this, I will just say, towards the end of it, there's this synth part that reminded me of the theme from Space Jam, and that was just killer. So, first review of 2024, and it did not disappoint. Minus the part that they're from New Jersey, of course. I kid. Great choruses all throughout this album, and I cannot wait to re-listen to much of it, but specifically Truer Words Ever Spoken. I know you were released in December, but I'm going to credit you with being a propitious beginning to 2024. Thanks, and rock on.